We couldn't possibly do a show looking at British sports car manufacturers without talking about TVR. And we couldn't possibly talk about TVR without looking at this, their latest offering. It's the Tuscan Speed Six. Seen here not for the first time perhaps, but certainly for the first time in full production guise. The Speed Six refers to the glorious straight six engine that's found ordinarily in the Cerbera. But whereas, as in that monster, it can be a bit of a handful, should we say, TVR reckon that in this, the Tuscan, it's far more, well, perhaps docile isn't the word, but more easily manageable. In fact, TVR reckon this is going to be a true grand tourer with plenty of room for people, not too challenging to drive, and even room for luggage. You may think that this looks a little bit too wild to take on the road, but 1,300 people certainly don't, because they've already got orders in for theirs at £39,500. Ben, in many ways, the defining characteristic of the Tuscan has to be that incredible straight six engine. We've seen it in the Cerbera, and it can be a bit of a handful. You're saying this is going to be a little bit easier to drive. Does that mean it's compromise?
You have to make a compromise when you're building a car, because you can either build a car that is incredibly quick around a circuit, or you can build a car that is usable every day. And more of our customers use their cars to commute in and out of town than they take them on circuits. They do take them on circuits, but it just isn't every day. So yes, you have to make a compromise. The Tuscan is available, the standard form is softer. It is a very comfortable car to drive, to use. We are introducing a new division, which if you want it to be more sporting, they can sell you the bits, the kit of parts which we will fit at the factory to make the car a lot more sporty.
Now, it sounds ridiculous to talk about practicality in a car that looks the way it does, but you have looked at that, and in terms of grand tourer capability, there is some there.
What seems to us, and we can't understand it, when we look at a lot of our competitors, they build two-seater convertibles that you can't go on holiday in, because you can't fit the luggage in the boot with the roof down. I just can't understand that. So it's very important to us that two people can fit luggage for a fortnight's holiday in the boot, and you can still get the roof down. So yes, we've designed it so it specifically does that.
It's still a pretty specialist end of the market, and life for British sports car small manufacturers has traditionally been rather precarious. You actually are putting down roots deep enough now to appear completely stable. But has technology got an important role to play here in small volume manufacturers growing?
We couldn't have designed as much of the car that we build in-house without the benefit of the very highest of high-tech CAD/CAM machinery. We still style the cars with years of sculpting. It's like when you're washing a car. It's not until you've actually cleaned your own car that you can really appreciate the subtlety of the lines. We believe that if you can style a car in 3 months on a computer, you can't appreciate it. It takes years of sculpting it. So we do that very much the old-fashioned way. But the engine, the suspension, the brakes, all done with the very, very latest CAD/CAM computer wizardry.
But nevertheless, if you're buying that British sports car, that exclusivity is part of the whole experience, that hand-built feel. So how can we know that for certain TVRs, say, in 50 years' time, are going to become bland and homogenised like everybody else?
I don't think there's any chance whatsoever of TVR ever becoming bland or politically correct. I mean, for heaven's sakes, we've just launched a road car with 800 brake horsepower per tonne. We're not that politically correct yet.